request Mr. Sedaraman to address particularly the interest of students.
Good evening, everybody. I must thank Jnanam School of Business and Chamber of Commerce for providing us this opportunity. I don't have the privilege of to call a son of soil, but I have the privilege to be called as son-in-law of the soil. My wife hails from Tanjavur, and as the moderator Shalapan said, I don't have much to talk about on the budget, but I have few just thoughts to share with you, and most importantly for the student community, what exactly they have to look at in each budget, not only on this. Now, in the opening remarks, President made a point that few journalists or few papers have made a list of wish list. If that wish list has been met by the finance minister, then the economy would be in doldrums. Okay. Now, I am just reading 5 points from Economic Times, which got published prior to the budget. Okay. 5 reasons to stay tuned in. What are the possible that one can look at from the budget? This was the list given by Economic Times, and this list probably must have gone through the minds of Mr. P. Chidambaram, the finance minister. I'll read out the first one. The first one, he says, will there be enough jobs? Right? Now, the answer is yes. And the supplement point is, the jobs will be created as the budget is going to address the revival plan of the economy. That's the general. So he has taken that point. So the Economic Times question on will there be a job creation? Yes, he has attempted that. Second point, what the budget could do in general. Okay, I would like to take a few minutes to explain about the budget concepts. See, I was having an opportunity to talk to one of the chairman of the top IT companies, the topmost IT companies in India. I was generally asking with him on a particular forum. He was making a point that all these budget numbers like GDP, fiscal deficit, IAP numbers, that doesn't matter for the companies. Okay, they don't plan based on what exactly the fiscal deficit is going to be or how the current account is going to be. They look at only what they are up to, whether they have a power, whether they have adequate manpower, whether they have the ambience to do the business. So he was mentioning that these numbers, like the GDP number, all these numbers realized by the government doesn't matter much for their business planning. By saying that, I just want to make a point. What the budget could do, the budget says fiscal consolidation will give RBI room to cut rates. Second point, more measures and reforms to boost investment sentiment. So he has addressed that. So the point I am trying to derive is, whatever the lobbies, the chambers and the other people are trying to give through press, media, all I think are being looked upon by the officials as well as the finance minister before presenting their budget. And the third point, what they have mentioned is, will the taxes go up? Whether the taxes for the common man, the corporators will go up. You all know what exactly is the scenario. The fourth point, will salaries grow? This is a logical question. If the business is going to grow, the salaries is going to grow. Now, I would like to draw a particular inference. The last week, Business Today, there was a survey on top 500 companies or top 500 business executive salaries. Okay, it starts with 100 crores. An executive who is drawing more than 100 crore and an executive who is drawing at 50 lakhs. This is presently based on the listed company information. Probably Mr. Chidambaram would have seen that and tried to tax those rich people, right? So he thinks, will the salaries grow? He must have seen that. Okay, so many people are drawing more than 100 crores. Can you imagine? I mean, you can see the Business Today that hardly 50 people are drawing more than 100 crores per annum. That's the statistics. Okay. The confidence index says, yeah, the business is going to grow, salaries is also going to grow. What the budget could do for that? Leave corporate taxes untouched, avoid any controversial levies. There may be some rationalization in indirect taxes. I mean, all our panelists have talked about that. So there is a possibility of salary is going to grow if the business climate is going to grow up. And what will happen to my savings? Okay, the finance minister tried to address that also. He says there may be incentives to save more. What the budget could do? The budget could do the following thing. To arrest savings decline, FMA announced a higher limit under 80C. Good that he has not touched anything. Okay. The point I am trying to say is, whatever that is being talked about through chambers or through media, through papers, okay, these are all, being taken care at some point in time. So this budget, in our, in general opinion, has tried to stimulate the growth, because given the level playing field, the finance minister has achieved whatever that best he can do. As I was talking about the numbers, okay, see, the numbers are not so important for a business person. I agree with you that the inflation is haunting us, all this fine, but the looking at the microscopic view of all this may not have a relevance, in a day-to-day activity. I would say this is my view. Now, the chief statistician of India was making a comment on the growth rate. Suddenly, the finance minister says that CSO is not correct. Now, there was a war of words between them. They said, the CSO said, I am giving the growth rate, I am projecting the growth rate based on the past data. The finance minister says the past data is irrelevant. You see, there itself there is a problem. The data, when I say 4.5 or 5.6 or 5.2, that doesn't matter. I'm sure most of the industries will agree. And most of the industries people will say that, okay, the GDP is going to grow at 5%, I will have a plan like this. The possible business people will look at how much I am going to get as a credit, what possible the interest rate could be, whether I will be getting my labor, whether I will have a good ambience in doing business. Now, if that particular things are being given to a business people, then I don't think we need to talk about this growth rate and all, because automatically it will grow. But if everything is given to a business person, he is definitely going to make good fortune out of that. So the climate is so important, and on that note, Mr. Chidambaram has tried to achieve that. As far as the opportunities for, in general, everybody talk about the skill development, all this. You see, these are all talks, right? The skill development program, the government has announced so much of crores, but what exactly matters is the ground reality. I can just quote, because I was part of that particular initiative. This is not about the central government, this is about state government. The state government in Tamil Nadu has introduced a novel scheme. I am sure many of you are aware of that. Now, the first generation entrepreneur will get a loan of 1 crore without any collateral. There is a scheme announced by Chief Minister. Okay, so it is not only the central government budget is going to create opportunities, it is the state government also. Irrespective of whether the state government is going to get share from central government on that, all this, it's a matter of the implementation. The current state government in Tamil Nadu has created this particular scheme, and we were part of that, and we were developing some kind of models for them. So the entrepreneurs or the business opportunity is there as long as you have or we have the will to go and do the business. Of course, as I told you, the playing field should be there. There are a lot of issues are there in terms of power, skill laborers and all. Now, when I talk about skill laborers, you see, government can only create the skill development centers. It is up to us to get into that system. I'm sure many of you know that nowadays corporate are looking at creating their own institutes. A big giant I know in automobile has started his own ITI, Polytechnic. So they are taking people and grooming them for their own particular business perspective. Now, similarly, such kind of opportunity, Mr. Chidambaram is intelligent and he has played very cleverly this card. Just one point I want to mention on that intelligence is that when he tried to address the current account deficit, he is trying to play with the FII and FDI numbers. Okay, whatever the percentage of investment that a corporate is going to make on purchasing equity shares, that more than 10% will be termed as FDI. Thereby, he tried to make some kind of adjustment in the current account deficit. So he is an intelligent man. He has given some kind of roadmap, and let us see how it goes. Thanks for the opportunity and for my initiative.
Thank you, sir. Lastly, for the Chamber of Commerce, what is the detail? I will take for a few minutes, and then the floor will be open for questions to the panel. The definition of agricultural land has changed. The real estate sector, more or less, already facing a lot of problems. Last year, they have amended the Service Tax Act to say that when you construct more than 2 buildings, is liable to service tax. Earlier it was 8 buildings, 8 houses. Earlier if you construct 8 houses, you have to pay service tax. Now you have to pay service tax if you construct more than 2 buildings. Number one. This year, they have changed the definition of the agricultural land. What is the effect? Earlier, if you sell an agricultural land, there is no income tax. There is no capital gain on sale of agricultural land that is situated 8 kilometers beyond the city limits. Now this 8 kilometers have been reduced, and the effect is even if agricultural lands now if you sell will be liable to 20% capital gains tax. Number one. Number two, if anybody sells any, both 1% will be deducted, and the address of both the people, both the seller and the buyer will be taken by the department, and they will be called to the department to pay the balance tax. This 1% is only an indicator. They will collect 1% and they will start proceedings. And one more thing on the real estate. When you sell a immovable property, the actual sale value is which is liable to sales tax, income tax. For example, if the guideline value of the property is 10 crores, the sale value is only 5 crore. If it is a business, if it is a real estate business, you are paying tax on the 5 crores only, not on the 10 crores. Now the definition has been changed, and 50C is applicable to business also, which means if you sell a plot for 200 rupees square feet, whereas the guideline value is 500 rupees, your sale value will be taken as 500 rupees, and you have to pay tax on the 500 rupees. Finally, all the doors closed for the real estate industry. Already lot of unsold flats are there everywhere, all over India in cities, in Bangalore, in Pune, you can see in the night, they are canvassing the sale, the prices are going down. This is one thing you have to take care. And 80 small concessions have been given, which is last year, Pranab Mukherjee, when he was the finance minister, he told if you get 10,000 rupees as interest from savings bank, it will be exempted. Tax effect 1,000 rupees. Today, he has announced under section 87A, if your income is less than 5 lakhs, you will be given a tax rebate of 2,000 rupees. See, these are all something there in the budget to announce and discuss, and no effect is there. Really, the cost to the government is very, very low, very, very little. And there are certain amendments, you can pay only 10% of the sum assured as premium to claim deduction under section 80C. Now you can pay up to 15% in case of 80U and 80DDB cases. What is 80U and 80DDB cases? 80U is a handicapped case, 80DDB is diseases that are very serious like cancer, AIDS, all those things. If somebody having these problems and if he is still paying income tax, and he can claim more, he can pay more premium if at all the insurance company issues any policy to him. If at all a policy is issued, he can pay 15% premium and claim deduction, whereas we can claim only 10% of the sum assured as a premium deduction. So these are all the things, and for banks there were certain commodity transaction tax has been introduced, and they are trying to tax the state government. When the state government runs a public sector enterprise, and that public sector enterprise pays something to the state government, that something fees or something, some other expenditure paid to the state government is not allowable an expenditure on which this public sector undertaking now has to pay income tax. And 80CCG, 50% investment up to last year Rajiv Gandhi scheme they introduced. You invest in shares and you will get a deduction up to 25,000 rupees. If you are a first time investor, only for 1 year it was there, now it is extended to 3 years, and the mutual fund units listed on the exchange are also included. 80EE, this is a new section. You must purchase a house not exceeding 40 lakh rupees. For a not exceeding 40 lakh rupees, you can buy only in small places. And the loan must be only up to 25 lakhs, not 26 lakhs. If both these conditions are fulfilled, and you don't have any other house, and if you purchase within 13-14, financial year 13-14, then you are eligible for a rebate of 1 lakh rupees. Effect may be 10,000 to 30,000 rupees tax effect, and only for 1 year. The next year you don't get the deduction. So 1 year deduction you are given. And some more issues have been 80IA extended for 1 year. If somebody is producing electricity, distributing electricity, something like that, their income was exempted up to 2013. If they start up to 2013, it was exempted. Now it will be exempted up to 2014. 80J, double J, double A, when somebody, some company admits new regular employees, not casual employees, new regular employees, and they pay salaries to the new regular employees, the PF and other things will be taken, will also be paid, and 30% additional rebate will be given for the expenditure. And the double taxation avoidance agreement, government takes some more power, and the GAR is introduced from 2016, General Avoidance, Anti-Avoidance Rules. That is, whenever you do a business transaction, the government gets power to decide that transaction is a cheating transaction. The government has power to decide that transaction has been created by you only for the purpose of avoiding income tax, and they can forget that agreement or transaction and they tax it and tax you, and that will be applicable from 2016. Foreign dividends will be taxed, and adjustment of money seized in raids. In case of income tax raids, if they seize cash